We've witnessed a great deal of civil unrest over the last year, and I have made several videos addressing its political causes, and it would be hypocritical of me to offer distant political critiques of society's problems without offering actual solutions that address the mental health issues underpinning them. And so that is why I'm excited to do this video on the Wim Hof breathing and cold therapy techniques. So Wim Hof is a Dutch man who, among many of his feats, has scaled Mount Everest in shorts and shoes only, and Mount Kilimanjaro. And while his story and personality are extremely interesting, I am less concerned with him as I am with the practical application of his breathing and cold therapy techniques. So the two parts of the techniques are the controlled breath work, which I will demonstrate live in this video and spasm a bit on camera, which will be fun, and the cold exposure therapy.
Hey man, ain't this nice?
And both of these techniques are designed to induce a positive stress state in the body in order to build up the body's innate capacity to deal with stress, inflammation, and threats, both physical and mental. And I want to stress that there's an increasingly large amount of empirical evidence backing up the effectiveness of Wim Hof's methods.
We are built to be happy, strong, and healthy. We got all the tools, but they are not awakened. But who is going to wake them up? That's us.
So the basic explanation of why the Wim Hof method works is the same explanation for why when you work out, your muscles get stronger. By challenging and tearing and stressing your muscles in controlled exercises by lifting weights, you damage them, but in a controlled way that allows them to build back stronger. And the same basic principle is consistent with your neurophysiology. Here's top lobster Jordan Peterson to explain.
And we also know that if you're going to face a threat, if you face it voluntarily, what happens is your body activates itself for exploration and mastery. But if you face it involuntarily, same size threat, then you revert to prey mode, and you're frozen, and that's way more stressful. It's way harder on your body.
So let's think about this idea in the context of cold showers or cold therapy. If I'm jogging along the lakefront in the middle of winter and I fall into the water, suddenly I'm in a high stress situation. I think I might drown, I might, get hypothermia, whatever. But if I put myself in the same physiological circumstance, i.e. being immersed in freezing cold water, and I do it in a controlled environment like my shower, where I can just turn off the cold water if I want to, I am no longer in prey mode. I'm not producing cortisol, which puts stress on my body. I am using a different set of neurological circuits designed for exploration and mastery, as Jordan Peterson explained.
The circuit that we use to defend ourselves against predators, as we've evolved cortically, that circuit has come to represent what we don't know in general. Because the predators, of course, inhabit where we don't know. And so evolution is a conservative force, and we use the circuits that we've evolved to represent new things. Your life can be organized, going very well, and then something comes up, and poof, everything changes. Some axiom that you were living by, and it might be the existence of a partner, it might be a job, it might be your health, any of those things, gone. And you go somewhere when that happens. You go somewhere.
So by strengthening the neurological circuitry that we developed in our ancient evolutionary past to deal with threats in the physical world, we're strengthening the same systems used to deal with threats in the social world. Losing your job, dealing with someone who cheated on you, whatever. You're literally building up willpower.
How I'm dealing with this anxiety? There is no anxiety. There's only power.
So a couple practical notes on the cold showers. Every day I just take a warm shower and then I end with like 2 minutes on freezing cold. I couldn't start that way. I had to build up. So if you're going to do it, do 20 seconds or something like that to start and then build up. One of the main benefits of the cold shower is you get a huge burst of energy coming out because the cold water hits your muscles, which actually activates all of the 10,000 kilometers worth of microfibers in your muscles that carry oxygen in blood.
All this vascular system, which is composed with millions of little muscles, they are very much connected to the cells and their reactions. These cells are there and innately capacitated to respond, to adapt to the situation.
And also when you're stepping out of the shower, it's nice when you go from cold to room temperature because your body is warming up. Whereas if you end with a warm shower and you step out, your body temperature ends up decreasing. And the freezing cold water can be pretty painful, especially if you're a dude. But the main point is, if you're going to try it, don't push yourself too hard ever. Just habituate towards it, activate those stressors, and you'll build up your capacity to deal with it. So the second part of the Wim Hof method is the breathing work, which I'm going to demonstrate now. The first thing to note is I need to give a safety warning, because all of the Wim Hof videos give safety warnings, because you could, like, you're not supposed to do this while you're driving because you could pass out. You can seize up a bit or whatever. So the key here is never push yourself, never go past your limits. So keep that in mind if you try this yourself. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate the actual breath work now. It's probably weird, but whatever. So the first thing you do is do 30 deep breaths in for about 1 to 2 seconds each. The key is deep breath in and a relaxed breath outward, and that floods your body with oxygen. So about the 15th breath in, my skin starts to tingle a little bit, kind of like pre-workout or meth, which I think is the same thing. And then after 30 deep breaths, you exhale on the last breath, and then you hold that exhalation for about 1.5 minutes in the first round. So while I'm holding it, I'll get like an irony taste a little bit in my mouth, and I think that has to do with your blood pH going up, but I actually don't know. And then the last few seconds of holding the exhalation, I get the urge to breathe and get kind of fidgety. Then the key is to take a big deep breath in, and then you hold that for 15 seconds. And right about 10 seconds in, you start to feel lightheaded, and it feels pretty good actually. And then you hold that in for 15 seconds, and you slowly release the breath. You don't exhale a lot, otherwise you'll pass out. You just let the breath go. And that's 1 round. So usually I'll do 2 or 3 rounds of this breath work, and the effects that you feel tend to get more intense in the second and third rounds. And in the later rounds, you actually extend the time that you hold your exhaled empty breath from 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes, to eventually you get to, I've gone all the way up to 3 minutes, but you don't need to breathe when your body is flooded with oxygen. So after taking in the exhale in the second round, you can see my face start to twitch because your muscles get very, it's like a buzzing sensation in your body. It feels very, pretty intense in this round, but it feels good. And then I do a final third round, and I actually hold my breath for about 150 seconds in this round. And here in the third round, my muscles are really kind of like buzzing, like behind my eyes and my face in particular in this round. And then on this deep breath, this is where I spasm a decent amount. But that's actually a normal effect. And again, you want to watch the safety videos and make sure that you are doing this right before you try it. So by the end of the third round, I'm feeling pretty good. The lightheadedness, the tingling, all of that has been amplified. And then the last breath, I feel very, very relaxed and feeling pretty good overall. So that's a basic outline of the cold therapy and the breath work. They're powerful techniques. I've done it for the last few months. I usually do the breathing at night before I go to bed. That helps me sleep. I've been doing these in conjunction with therapy, and I've found it's been very valuable in improving and maintaining good mental health. And the coolest thing about this, honestly, is the story about why Wim Hof came up with this method to begin with. And I want to show you this and really put it in perspective in terms of the mental health value of these exercises.
Can you remember feeling like, oh God, I'm depressed today?
Oh yeah, I mean, I came from these valleys, depression and all. I know those ones. I lost my wife in '95. She jumped from an 8-story down.
This is unimaginable pain. You lost your wife. They lost their
broken
mother.
hearted. And you know what? She had schizophrenia. Yeah, as they called it, and they put all kinds of injections into her and antidepressives, and she only got worse. She gave it a kiss to the little babies before she went. She was very conscious of what was. It was a real terrorist, a real terror. And that terror now we are able to tackle. And I'm showing them how to go and tap into the deepest part of the brain and to learn to re-regulate anything that deals with our mood, which means depression, psychosis, bipolar, schizophrenia, trauma, fear, anxiety.
Yes.
So anything of those, we got the knowledge. It came from nature, and nature has the answers, whereas the books are failing. And the system is failing.
So if you're struggling with anxiety or depression or some mental health issue, it might be a good idea to give this a shot. I'll put all the links to the website. Do research, don't push yourself, and as always, good luck and Godspeed.